Who are you?
Who am I? My name is Saya. I'm a singer-songwriter, indie artist. I'm from New York. I grew up outside of the city, outside of New York City. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, I guess, but I have been doing music since I was really young, like 12. That's when I started writing songs. And it's always been a big part of my life and always will be, so.
Who are some of your biggest influences in your songwriting?
Wow, there's so many, so I'm gonna try to hit all of them, but in high school, like Joni Mitchell really inspired me to like work harder on my lyrics, so I feel like that was kind of the path to like actually becoming more interested in songwriting for me was in high school when I discovered Joni Mitchell. She also has like a super interesting life and like is very humble about her career and her music, so yeah, like she's always been a huge inspiration, such a great storyteller. In more recent years, I like have really grown to love Phoebe Bridgers. She's kind of a more new, like recent artist, but I feel like the way she communicates her thoughts is like really clear in her music, and there's a lot of like personal details about her life that she does a great job expressing with her lyrics. So she's huge. Joji is also a big influence. I'm repping him right now with my t-shirt. Yeah, like he produces his stuff, some of his stuff, and he's really like has really cool ideas. Yeah, and production wise, I'm also really influenced by Finneas and Billie Eilish. I like to say Finneas because he like produces her stuff, but I feel like he has a great way of using like real sounds in Billie's music that I feel like that's really important because like you can do a lot of cool synths and stuff, but I feel like kind of utilizing the space around you and like natural percussive elements and stuff is like something he does a really great job at, and of course vocal production as well. He's really great at that. So I would say my favorite memory of performing is there's this place in my hometown called the Purple Crayon. I know it's kind of a weird venue name, but it's like a very special place to me. It's not open anymore, unfortunately, but that's where I had my first open mic actually. And I was really nervous. I was like 14 years old, 13, 14. And I think I performed Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People. And like, I remember the stage lights were really terrifying to me because I couldn't see anyone in the audience. And I was performing with my friend Alex, who she felt like not seeing the faces made her less nervous, but I like seeing people's reactions. So I felt like, I was like, oh, I can't see like if people like the song. But nevertheless, like it was a great performance and people loved my original song that I played because we got to play 2 songs. And yeah, like there's like purple neon lights there, like it's super pretty. That's my favorite color. So I would say that's like my favorite memory is like the first open mic I had at the Purple Crayon.
What song or songs would you say define your middle school years?
I would say, oof, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
But I really loved Paramore in middle school, so I would say like maybe Misery Business by Paramore defined my middle school years, as well as like, I know it's corny, but Evanescence. Like I can't think of specific songs, but the whole like their first album definitely was like that defined my angsty middle school phase. What else? Yeah, I would really just say those 2 bands. Like it's really cool seeing like female fronted rock bands, you know. That was like super empowering to me as a little middle school student. So yeah, Evanescence and Paramore for sure.
If you were an instrument, what instrument would you be?
Ooh, that's a great question. I feel like if I were an instrument, I would probably be a violin, even though guitar is like mainly what I play, and like that's my favorite instrument. It just like very like, there isn't always like legato in violin, but like generally when I think of like songs with strings, it's like very orchestral and dramatic. Not to say I'm dramatic, but I feel like it's definitely very like soft, I think, and romantic, and like it speaks like to your emotions, because anytime there's like strings on a track, like yeah, there can be aggressive like string songs, but I feel like for the most part people think of it as like very emotional and like being in touch with your emotion. So I feel like that's kind of like me as a songwriter, me as an artist. Like it's very much like self-aware type music, where I'm trying to like be honest with myself and I'm in touch with my emotions. So I would definitely be a violin.
What song are you most excited to play tonight?
I think I'm the most excited to play Achilles Heel. I released it as a single, as some of you may know, but I wrote this song almost 2 years ago at this point, which is crazy. And I think of it as a turning point in my career, I guess, as a songwriter, or just like my artistic journey in general. Because before that, I think it was very much, I didn't really figure out what my sound was and like what types of music I think that I wanted to write. Because I think, especially when you go to music school, it's easy to be influenced by, what's around you or like what you're told to write. So I was kind of like, should I be a pop writer or rock, or like what really is it, and I just kind of at one point gave up trying to like fit into a bunch of different boxes, and I was like, okay, what do I listen to? And it's like really sad acoustic like emo folk stuff is like, that's always been a special place in my heart. So I just wrote this song after a situation, and I was like, I think I want to keep writing music like this where I'm just being honest, even if it's like really slow and sad and like kind of a mood killer at shows, like it's just authentically who I am. So it's special to me for that reason, even though I've grown a lot since I wrote that song. And yeah, like I'm really proud of the single I put out as well. My friend Alex produced it, and he did such a great job, and yeah, like it just represents my new sound very well. So I'm the most excited to play Achilles Heel for sure.
Are there any other songs that we should be on the lookout, or any other projects that people back home can look forward to?
Yeah, so actually I'm releasing a single soon called Dress Up, and I will be playing that tonight. And yeah, like it's kind of a short song, but it's in the process of being produced right now, so that will be out in March, so look out for that. And I'm also working on an album, actually, my debut album, which is, and it's in the very early stages, but I'm hoping for it to be released next year, hopefully. So that's like kind of this concept I've been mapping out. So yeah, like I haven't written many of the songs yet, but just keep an eye out for that, like in the distant future, for sure.
If you could perform anywhere, where would you perform?
I would say London would be a really cool place to perform. I've been there twice actually, because I studied abroad 2 springs ago, which is crazy, and I was able to visit there, and I've also been there with my family, and my aunt also lives there as well, so I kind of have a family connection. But yeah, like it's, I'm from New York kind of, so like New York City is the city I grew up in. And London like reminds me a lot of New York, but it's in England, which I know a lot of people say that. But I think it has such a like great music scene. I know it's COVID now, so it's a little bit different. But I've like seen a little bit of the music scene, and I've heard stories about it. And it seems like there's a very like strong sense of community, at least from what I've heard. So I feel like I would have such a good time playing there and meeting people. And I definitely feel like I love a lot of UK bands, UK artists, and there's definitely a scene for like singer-songwriters in London, so that would be kind of like my dream place to perform someday. Yeah.
Cool.
The first thing I'm going to do after the pandemic is over would definitely be going to a show. I don't know what show it would be, but I feel like whoever, whichever artist I listen to who's on tour, if they're coming to wherever I'm living, I'm immediately going to that. If it's safe, of course, which it will be because it'll be over. Yeah. My pre-show ritual, I think, is like being by myself, honestly, because I feel like if you're, at least before COVID and stuff, like before I played at open mics or whatever, being around too many people was a little bit overwhelming for me, and I think you can get very distracted from like, okay, like how, like what are these songs about and stuff, and like I really want to bring that to the performance always. So I feel like having a few seconds by myself to be like, okay, like this is gonna be great, like just, think about like what you're singing, like be present and stuff. I feel like so just like a self pep talk, I guess, is my pre-show ritual. Cool. Yeah, I definitely have a few shout outs. Kalyani, if you're watching, love you, you're back home. Alex from home as well, my two best friends from home. Also Bryn, my roommate and one of my closest friends, love you if you're out there. Anyone in Blue Soju, which is my artist collective, I know you're watching, so thank you. Love you lots, and I'm excited to continue making music with you. And if my family's watching, hello, I miss you a lot, and stay safe. So, yeah, and love to everyone else who's watching. You're watching Hug the Tree. My name is Saya, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Awesome.